Oh, let me start my. Morning. Did I come out here too early? Ah, man. Anyway, it's your boy Miles Cunningham back on the trail, checking out the scenery, checking out the nature. Woke up this morning with another opportunity to talk that yak. You know what I mean? Talk that yakety yak. Morning. boxing training last night. That was dope. Morning. Trying to formulate this idea so I can articulate it the way I really want to. But so the idea is that freedom means nothing without boundary. Freedom means nothing without boundaries. Morning.
Morning.
It's because if you think about the world and the way it is, everything is based on opposites, right? Duality, right? So it's kind of like saying, how would you know what cold is if there weren't hot things? How would you know what wet is if there wasn't dry? So you need the boundaries to show the difference, right? You need some type of structure, some type of method of measurement, some type of method of comparison in order to be able to understand definition, so to speak. Because I saw this, and it's something that I read, that I kind of discovered from the book Conversations with God, right? Morning. And there was a part in the book where he was talking about how the reason for human beings is for God to discover more about himself. So he creates different subunits in humans, right? And each human provides a different possibility, right? And then he was also talking about how we also provide, or we also create everything so we can understand what other things are. So like I was saying, hard, soft, dry, wet, up, down, left, right. Everything is about some type of duality. And then the more you explore the different boundaries, like the different definitions, create the entire idea of what definition is, but you need those structures in place. Because I watched this short the other day that brought the idea back to me, where the guy was playing, he had a guitar, and he was like, he had the guitar turned backwards, where the strings was facing his torso, like facing his body, so there was no strings. And he was like, I could play this guitar like this, and I can be free. I can have the freedom to do that. However, are you going to hear anything, or is it going to sound like a guitar though? You understand? And he said no. And then he turned it around. He turned it around so the strings was by his hands. And he said, I could stand here and I could stroke the strings any way I want to. But will it sound pleasant? Will it sound like a song? And it was like, no, but he was like, no, I'm being free though. I'm exercising freedom. But he says, until I learn all the different fundamentals about playing the guitar, chords, notes, and understand all the rules that go into playing a guitar. Once I understand all of the rules, that's when I can truly have freedom to create based on the rules of the situation. And then when I use those rules, use those boundaries and parameters, that's when I can start playing the piano. Start playing the guitar, and it'll actually sound like something. You understand? It'll actually sound like something. So the point is to understand the rules, understand the boundaries, and find your freedom within the boundaries. You see what I'm saying? And that's true freedom, because freedom without boundaries is actually chaos, meaning that there's no basis, there's no purpose, there's no nothing. And if there's no basis or no purpose, then there's no building, right? There's no building anything of value and of benefit to others. But in order for you to build things within the confines of the structure, when you build things in the confines of the structure, you get to bring value to people. You get to bring benefit to people. Why? Because you're following the rules. You're following the rules. You're following the boundaries of the construct. Monogamous, what's up? What's up? So it was just an interesting concept. Like I said, I just wanted to talk about something because ain't nobody really on here for whatever reason. I'm about to cross over to Instagram, but I just wanted to talk about that real quick, for you to think about duality, to think about the concept of boundaries, and why freedom doesn't really exist unless we have boundaries, unless we have confines, unless there's a structure, unless there's something unless there's something some type of pushback, right? Meaning that when you reach the boundary, you have to there's some reference information, right? Where when I hit on this tree, it's like I know this is solid. I can't go past it. So hitting on the tree gives me information about the consistency of the tree and the wood that makes the tree compared to the flesh that makes my hand. You understand? And so that's a boundary that gives me information that lets me know something about who I am in reference to the tree. And so then from that point, I could use that information to accomplish different things of what I want to accomplish. Morning. So like you think about the Wright brothers creating flying machines and all that stuff. Is like the boundary is gravity, right? But what did they do? They used the information from the physical world, like, air density and wingspan and surface area and all these different things in physics in order to still they use the information from the limitations, from the boundaries, from the structure, and was still able to figure out how to, quote unquote, defy gravity. But are you really defying gravity, or are you using the properties of gravity and other physical elements, and it kind of forced them to develop a brand new idea because there was structure, because there was limitations? You see what I'm saying? It's the limitations, the boundaries, the limits, the structure that forced them to use the information and be creative enough to find another way. But if let's just say there was no gravity, there would be no need to try to create a flying machine. You see what I'm saying? And as well, if there was no gravity, this tree wouldn't be able to stay in the ground. This tree right here would not be able to stay in the ground. Would the tree even be able to grow? If there was no gravity, there was nothing to hold it in place. The soil couldn't stay attached to the earth, and there would be no ways to get nutrients to the tree so the tree could grow. You understand? So, and this is what to relate it to the game. You have to understand that There's a reason why the game is the way it is. There are things that you have to do in order to get what you want. There are things that you got to go through. There are limitations and boundaries that you have to press upon, get the information, and for you to be creative and use it to your advantage. That's what the game is about. You know, everybody is like, man, I wish I could just snap my fingers and then make anything happen that I want to happen. But if that was the case, you would never learn anything, because there would be no limits and no boundaries for you to struggle against to learn more about who you are. You see what I'm saying? If everything was to happen exactly the way we wanted to without any limits or boundaries, we wouldn't learn anything. We would be a very stagnant, it would be a very stagnant existence. Because if there was no limits, would you desire anything? You see what I'm saying? Like, what would you actually desire if there was no limit? If there was no limits, like for example, if you got a poor person, the poor person wants to understand what it means to be rich. And if you have a person who's born rich, a lot of times, those rich people, what do? They sign up to go help people in poor countries. What is that about? That's about duality, right? That's about understanding a certain reality and wanting to experience the opposite. That's the whole thing. And that, again, the opposite helps you to understand definition. It helps you to understand yourself. And those opposites are the boundaries, right? Those extremities are the boundaries. And so when you reach the limits, when you reach the boundary, what you get is a feedback loop. And that's the information that you use to help define yourself more and more. This whole idea, it probably sounds kind of weird. It might go over your head, but it's one of them things that you can ponder upon, and it can help you to understand certain things when it comes to reality. You understand? But duality, structure, limits. It's the key to finding out more about who you are as a person, to build your masculine identity and things like that. You understand? But if there were no limits and there were no boundaries, we wouldn't learn anything. There would be nothing for us to understand. Let me see. Charisma Strategies. Hey, KJ says, my pop said this chick he likes said she wants to start as friends. And I said, Pops, she's keeping her options open while using you for non-sexual attention. Facts. KJ said the top smiles, by the way. All right. Good morning, Rickster. Good morning, Miles. Hope you're having an amazing day. Appreciate it. KJ says, also told him he might be giving too much boyfriend energy. Right. Isaiah said, good morning. Charisma says, it doesn't like your dad is leading her. Ask him if he actually wants to be friends with her first. I'm sure the answer is no. He needs to make sure he is leading. Charisma says, doesn't sound. Zoramina, good morning. Excuse me. Yeah, man. Like it wasn't nobody on, so I was just talking about that esoteric stuff, or if it is esoteric, I don't even know what that means. I gotta go look that shit up. But anyway, today's Wednesday. I think we should be doing the next episode of the Bad Boy Show. So if y'all want to be a part of that, go to patreon.com/Mr. Lucario. I need to add some more content to my damn Patreon too. Shout out to the couple of people who's on there, man. I appreciate y'all. But anyway, guys, it's a slow morning for YouTube. I'm going to cross over to Instagram, all right? I'll see y'all over there. Y'all have a great day. Be good to yourself. And remember, the truth is inside you. Peace.